to the swirl into stories, sweet and wise. The Jalebi songs and big bright eyes, from temples to trees and kings and tales. We welcome you to the Jalebi Tales. The Jalebi Tales. The Jalebi Tales.
वैष्णवजन तो तेने कहिए, वैष्णवजन तो तेने कहिए, जे पीर पराई जाने रे। पर दुखे उपकार करे तोए, मन अभिमान नाने रे।
I did not know his name at first. I noticed him because he was quiet. While others hurried, he paused. While others spoke, he listened. Even then, I sensed something unusual. Not strength, not confidence, but attention. He was born Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Shy, unsure, often afraid of disappointing others. I saw him struggle to speak in public. I saw him doubt himself. He did not dream of greatness. He only wanted to live truthfully. Kasturba walked beside him for most of his life. They disagreed often. They tested each other's patience. She did not follow him blindly. She questioned him. She challenged him. I learned then his strength was shaped at home. When he traveled to England to study law, he felt small. The city was loud, the faces unfamiliar. He spoke little. He observed much. I think this is where he learned that listening can be a form of courage. At night, I saw him reading. Books became his companions. They asked questions no teacher had asked him. They spoke of justice, of conscience, of dignity. He did not announce these ideas. He carried them inward. In South Africa, everything changed. That night, on the cold train platform, I stayed close. He had been pushed out, not because of what he did, but because of who he was. He sat very still. I remember thinking, this stillness can become anger, or it can become resolve. He chose resolve. People began to listen to him, not because he shouted, but because he did not. Hindus and Muslims stood together. Indians in Western clothes and Indian clothes. He spoke softly. They leaned in. Unity arrived quietly. He asked people to resist injustice without becoming unjust themselves. Passes were burned, arrests were accepted. No fists were raised, no stones thrown. I realized then this was not weakness. It required enormous discipline. When he returned to India, crowds welcomed him as a leader. But I noticed something else. He stepped onto Indian soil already belonging to the poorest. He did not rush to power. He walked towards people. One day, he sat on the ground with a farmer. Same eye level, same dust on their clothes. He listened more than he spoke. I understood then he was not collecting followers. He was collecting truth. His life grew simpler. Clothes became fewer, possessions lighter. He spun cloth in silence. Much later, he would say, "My life is my message." But I knew it long before the words came. British officers watched him closely. They knew how to crush violence. They did not know how to crush conscience. Peace unsettled them because it could not be defeated by force. We walked for days, men, women, bare feet. No anger filled the air, only determination. I learned something then. When ordinary people walk together with purpose, history begins to move. Prison walls closed around him. Inside, he grew quieter. He wrote. He reflected. I realized silence was not his escape. It was his strength. There were moments he questioned himself. Was peace enough? Was he asking too much of people? I stayed because his doubt was honest. He did not pretend certainty. He chose responsibility. Then came a time when words were no longer enough. Violence spread. People demanded that he choose sides. I watched him listen and then turn inward. When the world demanded action, he chose restraint. He began to fast, not to force anyone, not to frighten anyone. He fasted to discipline himself. He believed that if he could not control his own body, he had no right to ask others to control their anger. He took suffering upon himself so that others would not pass it on. Outside the room where he fasted, voices softened, hands lowered. People began asking themselves questions no law could force them to ask. I learned something profound. Non-violence does not defeat enemies. It awakens human beings. This was his faith. Not faith in victory, not faith in power. Faith that human conscience, when truly confronted, will choose compassion over cruelty. He once said, "An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind." I had already seen it was true. Freedom came, so did sorrow. The land he loved was divided. People suffered. He walked among them quietly, carrying grief without anger. This was the heaviest burden he bore. His body weakened. His values did not. He walked slowly now, but always forward, still choosing peace again and again. The day he died, the world fell silent. Not because a man had fallen, but because an idea had risen. I did not stay beside him forever, but I carried something with me, a lesson learned by walking, not listening. Now I watch Arin and Anvi sitting quietly. They do not ask how he changed the world. They ask something better. What can we do? I learned this by walking beside him. Courage does not shout. Truth does not hurry. Peace is not passive. And in a gentle way, yes, you really can shake the world.
वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए, वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए, जे पीर पराई जाने रे, पर दुखे उपकार करे तो ये मन अभिमान न आने रे।
सकल लोक मां सहुने वंदे, निंदा न करे केणी रे, वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे, धन धन जननी तेणी रे।
समदृष्टि ने तृष्णा त्यागी, पर स्त्री जेने मात रे, जिह्वा ठकी असत्य न बोले, पर धन नव झाले हाथ रे।
मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जेने, दृढ़ वैराग्य जिन मन रे, राम नाम शूताली लागी, सकल तीर्थ तन रे।
वण लोभी ने कपट रहित छे, काम क्रोध निवारे रे, भण नर संयो तेनु दर्शन करता, कुल एकोतरे तारे रे।